My name is Rubik. I made the cube. Probably you heard about it.
Ever since the dawn of human existence, we have been developing ways to exercise mind and matter to the point of pride or frustration. In the case of a man by the name of Erno Rubik, a Hungarian architect and professor at the Budapest College of Applied Arts, he wanted to demonstrate to his students the scientific properties of three-dimensional objects. Yet, he didn't realize that the most revolutionary puzzle is about to be invented: the Rubik's Cube. According to Dr. Rubik himself, during an interview with Times Magazine several years back, he talked about what led him to his 1974 prototype.
There was a special course that I was lecturing, what we called form studies. Form studies meant to create different forms and shapes without a special function. The cube was a very basic form, capable to change its places and positions in space, and recognize how difficult to go back. And when I finished my work and I found solution for that, just in that time I realized it as a puzzle.
The Rubik's Cube has literally and figuratively revolutionized the way we not just look at puzzles, but mathematics as well. Ever since its invention in 1974, the Rubik's Cube has developed into being one of the more coveted inventions of our time.
You got a problem? Yo, I'll solve it. Watch me take this color cube and help you resolve it. Want to solve your Rubik's Cube? First you gotta pray. Nah, I'm only kidding. Let me show you the way.
Even Dr. Rubik himself took a considerable amount of time to solve his own invention.
I spent several months to do it, and finally I succeeded. So that was a great enthusiasm.
The Rubik's Cube quickly evolved into being a worldwide phenomenon, starting out production in Hungary to the point of selling over 350 million puzzles, making it the best-selling toy product of all time. The once called Magic Cube changed its name to the Rubik's Cube in 1980. There started a massive marketing campaign that led to the millions of cubes being sold.
Sure, Sir Isaac Newton unraveled the mysteries of gravity, but could he have unraveled the mysteries of Rubik's Cube? 3 weeks ago, Judge Smith retired to her chambers with Exhibit A, Rubik's Cube. She hasn't been seen since. Warning, once you get your hands on Rubik's Cube, you may never be able to put it down. Rubik's Cube, over 3 billion combinations, but just one solution from ideal.
At that point in time, the cube was considerably harder than any other puzzle distributed. The cube was thought to have just over 3 billion combinations, which was greatly underestimated, that of which has been the cause for frustration.
Ooh, a Rubik's Cube. Let's all work it together.
Okay, start with diagonal colors.
Use your main finger on the yellow side and your other finger on the orange side and turn it.
My main finger?
Orange, no, you
gotta start backwards. Alternate corners. Get the two red.
One at a time.
Spin the middle side topwise. Topwise.
Now I remember why I put this down there in the first place.
Don't look down upon yourself for not being able to complete the cube, being that 99% of the world's population cannot solve it. Yet, there is a reason to why it is so complex. The Rubik's Cube has been used as a teaching tool for mathematicians and for good intentions. Consider the amount of color combinations that the cube has, and as said, the 1981 commercial underestimated the projected 3 billion combinations. The brilliance of YouTube channel Numberphile did a video on the exact number of color combinations, otherwise known as permutations, for the cube.
The mathematics of the Rubik's Cube is rock hard, but we'll try and do a few things about it. We'll talk about the combinations first of all. How many ways can you mix up the Rubik's Cube? Let's do that. 4.3 times 10 to the 19. Some people call that 43 quintillion, but I don't like things like that. 4.3 times 10 to the 19. It's a massive number, though. It's a massive number of combinations.
If you want the exact number of different ways you can mix up a cube, it's 43 quintillion, 252 quadrillion, 3 trillion, 274 billion, 489 million, 856,000 flat.
To put that massive number into perspective, let's take all of the 43 quintillion cubes in each permutation and lay them across the Earth's surface area. You can fill the Earth 273 times. The mathematics of the cube are so intricate that in any permutation, the Rubik's Cube can be solved in 20 moves or less. Aside from the complexity, some people have mastered solving the cube to the point of doing it in less than 10 seconds. This is what is called speed cubing. I conducted an interview with one of my close friends, Maggie Jakopak, who talks about her life as a speed cuber. At first, Maggie explains how fast she has gotten and what got her into solving the Rubik's Cube.
Recently, I just started averaging like 9-10 seconds. Probably 2013, in like June, I was in a summer camp, and this kid had just had a 3x3, solving it like really fast, and everyone was freaking out about it. Every day that I went to the summer camp, I saw this kid solving it, and just one day I went home and tried to solve it.
With solving the cube, one must know numerous sets of moves, otherwise known as algorithms. Compared to the intelligence of Erno Rubik, Maggie explains how long it took her to learn the necessary algorithms.
I'd say it was like probably 5 days. I remember I stayed up like until 5 a.m. one night, just did not sleep, and memorized all the algorithms for the last layer.
Solving the cube is one thing, but doing it faster is a whole separate scenario. Maggie had 2 ways of describing her motivation to becoming faster as a solver.
When someone gets a world record, you sort of compare yourself to them, and like you want to get faster, and you want to get at least, like, I don't know, world record's like 4 seconds, but it used to be 5, and I wanted always to, get a single as a 5-second solve. Learning new algorithms and just becoming more efficient, I think that just motivates me. And then the last thing is, I think everyone just wants to show off that they can solve a Rubik's Cube.
One way to show off the skill of solving the Rubik's Cube is to compete in a cubing competition. Maggie has competed in a total of 7 competitions in various puzzle events, such as the standard 3x3 cube and even bigger size cubes, such as the 4x4 and 5x5. Yet her favorite event was not of any surprise.
My favorite event is probably 3x3, and then second, I would say, is probably 4x4, 5x5. Most people don't know this, but 4x4 is the hardest cube to solve, and after you learn 4x4, you can solve anything after that.
There are many different styles for solving a Rubik's Cube, such as doing it one-handed, blind, or even behind the back. Maggie explains what style of cubing impresses her the most.
I think the most impressive thing is multi-blind. I don't think blind solving one cube is that hard. I mean, it's actually pretty easy, but multi-blind, where people solve 8 cubes, like 10 cubes, 20 cubes, they have to memorize all of them and just do them in one sitting.
Maggie has already proven to be a specialist with the cube, although that doesn't stop her from wanting to get better.
I think I average like 10 seconds right now, and that's one of the hardest barriers to break for solving a 3x3. In the future, I want to average like 7 seconds, 6 seconds.
Since being a worldwide phenomenon for over 40 years, the cube has been heavily displayed in the media and television. Maggie talks about her favorite movie scene that involved a Rubik's Cube.
Probably say The Pursuit of Happiness was my favorite Rubik's Cube scene, because it sort of just shows like how pop culture views the Rubik's Cube.
Mr. Twistle, listen, this is a very important...
I'm sorry. This thing's impossible.
I can do it.
No, you can't. No one can.
No, I'm pretty sure I can do it.
No, you can't.
Let me see it. It looks like it works around a swivel, so the centerpieces never move. So if it's yellow in the center, that's the yellow side. Right. If it's red in the center, that's the red side. Okay. So you can slow down.
Oh, listen, we can drive around all day, because I don't believe you can do this.
Yeah, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't. I'm telling you, no one can.
At the end of this notorious movie scene, actor Will Smith solved the cube. That led to Maggie being asked of what her reaction was like after solving the Rubik's Cube for the first time.
My first reaction was... Oh, I can't swear, can I?
You almost have the sign. Holy cow.
My first reaction to solving the cube, I think I went to tell my dad and was just like, oh my god, look what I did. I just solved the Rubik's Cube. Like, congratulate me, please. I stayed up till 5 a.m. But yeah, I think that was my first reaction. I was just really happy that I was able to solve it. I didn't really care about what the time was.
1710.
This is me.
Good job.
Erno Rubik revolutionized the true essence of mathematics with his invention of the Rubik's Cube. Through frustration and jubilation, the cube has been sought out to be part of many lives, and for good reason. Regardless of who and who cannot solve the complexity of this three-dimensional puzzle, should be looked at as the masterpiece of a new millennium. Besides of all of the new technology being developed, the Rubik's Cube will always be a technological and mathematical revolution. As the interview concluded with Maggie Jakopak, her final statement is as said.
I think people should look at it differently about how to actually solve it, because I think people have this idea that it's so hard to solve and that if they're not smart they can't solve it. So I think people should I don't know, take a shot at trying to solve it if they have some interest in it.
My name is Noah Festenstein, featuring the one and only Erno Rubik in Times Magazine, YouTubers Daystorm and Numberphile, Ideal, Commercials, The Simpsons, Pursuit of Happiness, and last but not least, Speedcuber Maggie Jakopak. For me, personally, I remember the first time seeing the cube and knew that I would form a special connection with it. It fuels my mind, makes me feel smart, and expands the capabilities of the mind. The cube is lifelike. I expect to see something new every time that I solve it.